So, from the daily word just is right. It just shows word. This creative is really going to tie into what thank you, everybody. Yeah. When Linda called me, the theme today is the power of the. And when Linda called me and said, "Will you talk?" October, like, yeah, okay. And then she said, "The theme for the month is power," and I almost said, "Oh, I can't talk, can't talk." But that word does disturb me. It. There's something inside that just stretches up when I hear that word. The Oxford Dictionary defines the word zeal as great energy or enthusiasm in
pursuit of a cause or an objective. And I think therein lies the rub for me. It's that pursuit of an objective. There's an intensity or fervor in the way we use the word these days. Did you know that a synonym for zeal is vehement? 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 Which is probably another source of my disturbance is that association, right? In fact, zeal is defined as a person who is fanatical and uncompromising in pursuit of their religious, political, or other ideals. And I know Charles Fillmore did not intend the definition when he included the power of zeal in one of his 12 powers. So what was he getting at? Words are just symbols. You know, when Linda asked me, I have to remember and tell myself words are just symbols. It's like what I said last week as a prayer chaplain. I can tell you gobbledygook, but as long as my intention and the content of what I am saying, content which would be love, you will get it. Your divine self will get what my divine self is saying to you. It's like, I don't know if you've ever been to an opera and it's in another language, especially a beautiful aria or something, you know, you don't understand maybe what the words are saying, but the music will tell you, you will get it, you will know what that music is all about. Oh, sorry. Again, words are just symbols, they're forms. So I knew when Linda asked me that I would have to get over this. And the best way to get over this is to find something that has the same content that I can talk about. So I'm going to discuss a few of those. So, Joseph Campbell coined the phrase, follow your bliss. Now, I don't know if he really coined it, but he sure brought it to the forefront of society in the late 80s, early 90s, right? Everybody was talking about following your bliss. So what did he mean by that? And following your bliss, as it turns out, is not necessarily quitting your job, leaving your family, running off with someone else, you know, and He's really referring to following the truth of who you are inside. We're all on a path of discovery, and following your bliss is just being on that path. Joseph Campbell said, if you follow your bliss,
you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while, waiting. And the life that you ought to be living is the one. Wherever you are, if you are following your bliss, you are enjoying that refreshment. Word in life. Or that life is in you all referring to following the truth of who you are. I'll know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:3. What is this freedom? It is not license to live without strength, but the inward motivation to tame the raw spiritual power that is within us, to harness our divine potential and to move in the direction of life. But we tend to be able to understand all of it and feel that we are in touch with the I am, right? The true self, doing something, being with someone that. So hence the confusion I would think probably. We're not chasing some outward pleasure or experience. During his later years, I got this one. During his later years, when some students took him to be encouraging hedonism, Campbell is reported to have grumbled, I should have said, follow your blisters. I don't know if that's true, but it wouldn't have made any sense at the time either. So I have an art teacher in Georgia who I use my mentor. And I have been taking a workshop from her every month since 2020, actually before 2020. And a few years back, she wrote a book titled Finding the Freedom to Create. Don't have to now. Creative. When we are fully immersed in the act of creating, there is a space within us where all that we are and all that we know come together into one. We become so completely absorbed in what we are doing that we stay present there, not allowing ourselves to be distracted or to resist what is happening. We create freedom. Here we lose all self-consciousness. We are totally engaged in the act of doing. I call this experience our creative current. It is the place within us from which we are free to create, and therefore from which we like an electrical current whose voltage flows across a wire. The creative current flows across the path that we are totally focused within the act of doing. It's important to point out that she talks about access that creative flow. Campbell says your bliss has been there all the while, waiting for you. The word access, or something waiting for you, indicates something already there, always patiently waiting for us to decide. Always, we are either accessing, waiting from that place within us from which we are free to create. There all grow, coming from an open heart, or we are mixing, which is any time we are not extending the love that we are, not allowing our bliss, not growing and evolving, but rather accessing that superficial littleness that says, I'm not worthy.
Sorry.
That's all right. So if we're not creating, we are miscreating, which is any time we are not extending the love that we are, not following our bliss, not growing and evolving, but rather accessing that superficial littleness. The creative current or track has always been there. That is God's gift to all of us, literally God's gift to all of us. We are either creating or we are miscreating. What you are creating depends upon where you are drawing the energy from. So one thing about doing something that you kind of don't want to do like this is that it gives you an opportunity to explore. And I've been able to go back and explore these books that I haven't taken off the shelf in a while. So it's been really good for me. Michael Singer, I love this book because this one and his second book, The Surrender Experiment, really helped me to realize, to say yes, and to be open. So this book is The Untethered Soul, and he uses the term opening or closing our hearts. But this refers to creating or miscreating, right? Because you can only create when you are open. It is the divine energy within you that you are allowing to flow or to be blocked. We cannot help but create when we are open. When we close our hearts, we miscreate because there is no love. The Course in Miracles uses the two terms create and make. So when you are in the flow of love, you are creating. Everything else in this life is we make. So I'm going to read you a little bit from here. Now I understand people put their glasses on, take them off. Creating thoughts, holding on to thoughts, recalling thoughts, generating emotions, controlling emotions, and disciplining powerful inner drives all require tremendous expenditure of energy. Where does all this energy come from? Why is the energy there sometimes and other times you feel completely drained? Have you ever noticed that when you are mentally and emotionally drained, food doesn't help that much, except for chocolate? Conversely, if you look at the times in your life when you were in love or excited and inspired by something, you were so filled with energy that you didn't even want to eat. This energy we are discussing does not come from the calories your body burns from food. There is a source of energy you can draw upon from inside. It is distinct from the outer energy source. The best way to examine the source of energy is to look at an example. Let's say that you're in your 20s and your girlfriend or boyfriend breaks up with you. You get so totally depressed that you start staying home alone. Soon, because you don't have the energy to clean up, everything ends up sprawled all over the floor. You can hardly get out of bed, so you just sleep all the time. You must be eating because there are pizza boxes lying all around, but nothing seems to help. You just have no energy. Your friends invite you out, but you decline. You are simply too tired to do anything. Most people have been there at some time in their lives. You feel that you have no way out. It seems like you will stay there forever. Then suddenly, one day the phone rings. It's your girlfriend. That's right, the one who dumped you 3 months ago. She's crying as she says, "Oh my God, do you remember me? I hope you'll still talk to me. I just feel so terrible. Leaving you was the worst mistake I ever made. I see now how important you are to me, and I can't live without you. The only real love I ever felt in my life was during the time we were together. Would you please forgive me? Could you ever forgive me? Can I come over and see you?" Now, how are you doing? Seriously, how long does it take you to get enough energy to jump out of bed, clean up the apartment, take a shower, and get some color back into your face? It's practically instantaneous. You're filled with energy the moment you hang up the phone. How does this happen? You were completely drained for months and months. You had no energy. Then, out of nowhere, in a matter of seconds, there is so much energy, it blows you away. You can't just ignore these enormous shifts in your energy level. What exactly did all that, where exactly did all that energy come from? There was no sudden change in your eating or sleeping habits. Yet when your girlfriend comes by, you end up talking all night and going out to see the sunrise in the morning. You're not tired at all. You're together again and you're holding hands, and these rushes of joy just won't stop overwhelming you. People see you and they remark that you look like a bundle of light. Where did all this energy come from? Oh, we got one more. How many times have you experienced these dynamics in your life? You have a wellspring of beautiful energy inside you. When you are open, you feel it. When you are closed, you don't. This flow of energy comes from the depth of your being. It's been called by many names. In ancient Chinese medicine, it's called qi. In yoga, it's called shakti. In the West, it's called spirit. Call it anything you want. All the great spiritual traditions talk about your spiritual energy. They just give it different names. That spiritual energy is what you're experiencing when love rushes up into your heart. That is what you're experiencing when you're enthused by something and all this high energy comes up inside of you. Kind of sounds like the true zeal. You should know about this energy because it's yours. It's your birthright and it's unlimited. You can call upon it anytime you want. It has nothing to do with age. Some 80-year-old people have the energy and enthusiasm of a child. They can work long hours for 7 days a week. It's just energy. Energy doesn't get old. It doesn't get tired, and it doesn't need food. What it needs is openness and receptivity. This energy is equally available to everybody. The sun does not shine differently on different people. If you're good, it shines on you. If you did something bad, it shines on you. It's the same with inner energy. The only difference is that with the inner energy, you have the ability to close up inside and block it. When you close, the energy stops flowing. When you open, all the energy rushes up inside you. True spiritual teachings are about this energy and how to open. The only thing you have to know is that opening allows energy in, closing blocks it out. Now you have to decide whether or not you want this energy. How high do you want to get? How much love do you want to feel? How much enthusiasm do you want to have for the things you do? If enjoying a full life means experiencing high energy, love, and enthusiasm all the time, then don't ever close. So reading Michael Singer's passages, I was reminded of how much certain concepts of A Course in Miracles are actually very similar to all of these things. At its deepest understanding, A Course in Miracles shows us that we are all learning to remain open to the presence of love, and that we access the peace of God through that opening to love. But we have to want the peace of God, just as Singer says that we have to want to remain open. So there's a lesson in the back here, lesson 185. I have all these bookmarks. Okay. I want the peace of God. To say these words is nothing, but to mean these words is everything. If you could but mean them for just an instant, there would be no further sorrow possible for you in any form, in any place or time. Heaven would be completely given back to full awareness. Memory of God entirely restored, the resurrection of all creation fully recognized. No one can mean these words and not be healed. He cannot play with dreams nor think he is himself a dream. He cannot make a hell and think it real. He wants the peace of God, and it is given him. For that is all he wants, and that is all he will receive. Many have said these words, but few indeed have meant them. You have but to look upon the world you see around you to be sure how very few there are. We have to want to remain open, want that peace of God. Since we are on a path of discovery, we have to explore the depths of ourselves in order to understand and realize at what point or in what situations we close our hearts and choose to dream instead of having the peace of God. Sometimes we don't even realize we're closing up or setting up a barrier to love's presence. I'm reading again. There is a very simple method for staying open. You stay open by never closing. It's really that simple. All you have to do is decide you are willing to stay open. And whether you think it's worth closing, you can actually train yourself to forget how to close. Closing is a habit. And just like any other habit, it can be broken. For example, you could be the type of person who has an underlying fear of people and tend to close when you first meet them. You could actually be in the habit of experiencing an uptight closing sensation whenever somebody walks up to you. You can train yourself to do the opposite. You can train yourself to open every time you see a person. It's just a question of whether you want to close or whether you want to open. It's ultimately under your control. I went to a meeting last Thursday night. And it started out, it was just a small group of people that I know. And a person came in late who was new to the group, came in all blustery and, you know how those people are, kind of take over. And I was sitting there and I felt my heart squeezing, like somebody was turning a screw in my heart. I was closing my heart, right? That's the way I know when I'm closing. I don't know what clues you get when you're closing, but it was closing. And I sat there and, it was like I could not really interact with this person. And this is where A Course in Miracles dovetails with Singer. We have to practice being aware of whether our energy is open or closed. I became aware of this really tight sensation, and that's what was happening. And we're not perfect. It's just a matter of having a little willingness to be aware of what's going on within ourselves. So, what did I do? I sat there and I had to tell myself, okay, this person is nervous. This person just walked in late in a group of people that he didn't know, we didn't know, and I believe he was fumbling for, something to say, to hide his nervousness, and it just was like a blustery sensation. So being able to stop and be aware of what's going on inside me and to say, wait a minute, there's probably a reason. It could be the person's, the way they are all the time, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is what I was able to do to be able to then later go up and talk to this person without feeling, this perturbation of his behavior. So that's really what this is all about. And that's what Singer is saying. If you really want to stay open, pay attention when you feel love and enthusiasm. Then ask yourself why you can't feel this way all the time. Why does it have to go away? The answer is obvious. It only goes away if you choose to close. By closing, you are actually making the choice not to feel open and love. You throw away love all the time. You feel love until somebody says something you don't like, right? They're all blustery. And then you give up the love. You feel enthused about your job until someone criticizes something, and then you want to quit. You can either close because you don't like what happened, or you can keep finding love and enthusiasm by not closing. As long as you're defining what you like and what you don't like, you will open and close, open and close. You are actually defining your limits. You are allowing your mind to create triggers that open and close you. Let go of that. Dare to be different. Enjoy all of life. So you have to say and mean, I want the peace of God. So what difference does it make if this person comes in is all blustery? Really, what difference does it make? Right? Opening our hearts doesn't mean we have to like everyone, but we do have to recognize their divine spirit and hold them in love. The highest thought you can have is God. The highest vibration you can feel is love. So the more we open ourselves to feeling and expressing love in any situation, not letting the screws tighten around our hearts, and however you recognize that closing, the more we open to more vibrational energy of love, and the closer we come to truly meaning, I want the peace of God all the time. The peace of God is simply allowing in any situation the highest thought with the highest vibration to extend from ourselves. There is no other power that comes from the peace of God, including the power of zeal. Now, all of these phrases, including the power of zeal, mean opening the heart to love that is within you. Each phrase, bliss, flow, energy, peace of God, zeal, is our natural inheritance and is not something to go out and find. We can access it anytime we want because it is all the same, the eternal divine flow within us. We already have it. It is our God-given gift, as I said, literally, take that literally. But it is our task to open to its presence within us. And the more we open, well, the more we open, right? Charles Fillmore wasn't using zeal as a term of excess passion or energy in the pursuit of a cause, but as an expression of an open heart that is shared with others. A Course in Miracles lesson 185 states, two minds with one intent become so strong that what they will becomes the will of God. For minds can only join in truth. So the power of zeal, true zeal, the Charles Fillmore zeal, is simply the love, enthusiasm, excitement, and energy, just like our song said, that results from living a life open to your divine energy and the peace of God. The true power of zeal has nothing to do with having great enthusiasm in the pursuit of a cause or objective, but is creating from that place of truth that we are, always extending the love given by our Creator. Love created me like itself, no matter what the situation. With that brings excitement, energy, and enthusiasm for life. What this means is our bodies can be a flurry of activity, but, and I'm going to borrow this from Kenneth Wapnick, I heard him say this, Our brows are serene and our eyes quiet. Not sure my brow has ever been serene, but it's something to work for, right? Our bodies can be doing things, going around here. Our brows are serene and our eyes are quiet. So finding our bliss or choosing the peace of God doesn't necessarily mean we're ignoring the world around us. In fact, I maintain to have zeal, true zeal. You don't ignore the world around you. You enjoy life. So I will close with one last reading from Singer. And this is, I think, really, really important. Do not let anything that happens in life be important enough that you're willing to close your heart over. Do not let anything that happens in life be important enough that you're willing to close your heart over. Wow. When your heart starts to close, just say, no, I'm not going to close. I'm going to relax. I'm going to let this situation take place and be there with it. Honor and respect the situation and deal with it. By all means, deal with it. Do the best you can, but deal with it with openness. Deal with it with excitement and enthusiasm. Zeal. No matter what it is, just let it be the sport of the day. In time, you will find that you forget how to close. No matter what anyone else does, no matter what situation takes place, you won't even feel the tendency to close. You will just embrace life with all your heart and soul. That is the power of true zeal. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to have a little meditation. I was trying to work in, it's hard to tell, but I have a hard time doing that. Okay. So let's just sit here in quiet and take a deep breath. What I'd really like is for you to examine how you're feeling right now. Are you open? There's so much love in this sanctuary. Open your heart. Or do you feel kind of closed because I've been nattering on about stuff? Let all that go. Just feel your heart relax and open. Open to the flow of that energy of love that's never ending. Open to the flow that brings you enthusiasm. And yes, a zeal born from love. Remember how it feels to be in this space of so much love each time you feel yourself beginning to close. Feel the creative energy that is love. And for the gift that we have been giving, the gift of creation from love, we say thank you and amen. Return to this space while remaining in love. Feel the love between each other. You can return. And I think now we will share the prayer for protection. So let us pray together this affirmative version of prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are one.